So we read books, but we listen to music. And why should it be any different when we play music? So what are we actually listening for?
When I'm playing really good, I'm not really thinking about anything. I'm just listening. More and more as time has gone on, I realize that playing is really more about listening than it is about playing.
Well, we're listening for rhythm, melody, harmony, and interaction. And this is very crucial.
If I play one note and then I really hear how that note fits with what everybody else is playing, then there's a person inside me who's a fan of music, who's a listener. I just kind of ask the listener, okay, if you were listening to this, which you are, what would you like to hear next? And then I play that. So really it becomes the listening part of you that's the leader of the, you know, the melodic phrase.
So inside Pat Metheny, there's this little guy telling him if he sounds great and what to play next. So if we should follow the advice of Pat Metheny, which I strongly advise you to do, we should create this imaginary friend.
I've got you.
You've got me.
Under my skin.
Under your skin.
And your new musical imaginary friend should ask these questions. What are you playing? How does it sound? And what are you going to play next? So how do we create this super listener, your imaginary friend? So how do we learn to listen to what we play? And how do we actually learn to play what we hear? Let's start easy, because this is a lifetime study. I'll do some basics fast and then get into more advanced hearing later in the video. Start with something simple as the C major scale. Just play the scale slowly up or down. You hear that when you get to that B, it resolves beautifully into that C. So that's a leading tone. That's what we start hearing. Practice making small melodies. Basically, in the beginning it doesn't matter. Just listen to the sound and listen to what you want to play. Earlier I mentioned these 4 topics: rhythm, melody, harmony, and interaction. So playing up and down the scale is very fun, but we actually need to play jazz improvisation. So I'll start with the jazz standard, Perdido. In the 3rd bar of this tune you have that C major chord fitting directly on that C major scale. Run a backing track and play that C major scale in the 3rd bar. Then you see that we have all the chords in Perdido. We have a D minor, we have G7, you have C major chord. So if you can play the C on the C major chord, I guess we can play the D on the D and the G on the G. Just play the roots on all the chords and make them sound. So what I'm working on here is that you need to hear the tones in the right place when you're playing melodies or playing tunes. And training this is basically just doing it. Play the right tones in the right place at the right time. At some point you get used to playing these tones at the right time, at the right place, in the right timing. And this gets integrated, becoming a natural thing in your playing. Rhythm. Yes, we are already playing rhythm because in the 4/4 bar in Perdido, that's rhythm. Now we are playing whole tones, so you can add any rhythm you want. So whatever rhythm you are playing, it's rhythm. So we need to find out how to add new rhythm and hear new rhythm. So I made this simple overview of all the common rhythms like whole notes, half notes, quarter notes and 8 notes. Now try using any combination of these common rhythms, add them to the root of the chords and play the tune. Now we already get into harmony, because to make your solo a little bit more interesting than the roots and just rhythm, start adding chord tones. Practice the chord tones by playing them up or down in the scale. It's important to add rhythm, because then you start hearing new rhythm in your exercise and you spend some time on exercising. Why not add the rhythm so you become used to hearing new rhythm? I'll get back to rhythm in just a bit. But we need to add these beautiful chord tones into our tune. To do this, do as what we did in the beginning. Play small phrases in the scale. Now you only use the chord tones. Listen very carefully to what you are playing, your sound, and what you actually want to hear. When you want to practice hearing the tones you are playing or hearing in front of what you are playing, I have made it easy for you by making the lesson manual. The lesson manual holds more than 50 pages of new licks, exercises and examples on how you can get your hearing up to date. starting to hear what you're going to play and what you're playing, the download link is in the description. And now you actually got 3 out of 4. Rhythm, melody, harmony. Listening and hearing has to do with all these subjects. And what I said in the beginning, you need to listen to become better at hearing. So really you must learn the language we're speaking. You learn the language by listening. Listen to the hearers, listen to how they play, listen to their phrasing, their rhythm and the tones. Then try ever so slowly to sing along with one of their phrases, and it really doesn't matter how well you sing. You do not have to sing the tones they are playing, but hum along with the rhythm they are playing. When you're singing along, really don't think about hitting the right notes. It's the rhythm and the phrasing that's most important. So get that rhythm right.
I find it really helpful, and I've learned a lot about what I want to sound like, and tried to formulate ideas without the horn in my hands and just sing the ideas.
So what Chris Potter is saying here is that he hears all this rhythm in his head. We want to do this because if we have the rhythm, we only need to add the notes. So how do we get to the point where we hear the rhythm? Learning from our heroes, we figured out how to learn the jazz language. So I sing up and make up my own new rhythmic phrases. Da do da da do do da do do da do do da. When I make a line like this, I try to only focus on the rhythm. When I have the rhythmical phrase, I add the notes to it. I'm basically just playing the notes of my Perdido 251 line. And if you find it difficult, start with 1 bar. Da do da da. Make the rhythm of 1 bar. And then add the tones to this 1 bar. It's really important that you only play what you hear. If you do not hear anything, try stuff out. Let's do a fast forward and assume we know all the chords and all the scales. But we only need to think about the rhythm. Imagine the rhythm first. When hearing the rhythm in your head, then just fill in the notes of your rhythm. And always remember to limit the material if it gets complicated. Then add the notes to only that 1 bar. You can always add the rest later. If you want to dig into this ear-to-instrument method, you are very welcome to download the lesson manual PDF on Patreon. I've written in so many rhythmic ideas, do-da-do-da, da-da-da, do-do-da, do-da-do-da, followed up by licks. How you can learn the ear to instrument. Get the lesson manual on Patreon, the download link is right here. It's really about hearing what to play and when to play it. In this video I talk about how to listen and how to play solos from your heroes. Learn the jazz vocabulary like this. Check this video. Play music, have fun.